Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Eye on Port. It is proudly brought to you by Goyle Company Limited, West Blue Consulting, Ghana Community Network Services, that's GCNet, also Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority, and the media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Also, Serene Insurance is a proud sponsor of this program, and if you're doing trade and you want to insure your trade, Serene Insurance is the best insurance policy for you. Folks, if you tune to GTV or GH1, that's the first one, on Monday at 8:30 p.m., you should be watching a bridge version of this program, Eye on Port, on your screens. Also, if you get to tune in on to GTV on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m., you should watch a bridge version of this program. We are continuing a celebration of our frontline workers, and we're going to talk about fighting COVID-19, particularly the role of the international maritime health facilities we have in our country, within the region as well. We'll be looking at some of the wonderful jobs that the folks within these health facilities, within the international maritime space, are doing to support the fight against COVID-19. We'll also be celebrating them as well, because they've been doing wonderfully well throughout this period, and I'm sure that you'll be seeing some of the examples of the things they have done pretty shortly. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, also the demolition exercise that's supposed to pave way for the fishing harbour around Jamestown has already started. Some of the residents are not too happy. We'll be speaking with the Deputy Minister for Transport as well. We'll return pretty shortly.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect, and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Dear valued client, the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is now live to make it easy to track your consignment and know the estimated duty payable for both general goods and used vehicles. We are pleased to inform you that the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is available for download on Google Play Store for Android users and the App Store for Apple users. The Ghana Trading Hub mobile app is now live. Download and never be cheated. This is powered by the Smart Ports project under the auspices of the Government of Ghana and the Ghana Revenue Authority. Smart Port, improving Ghana's ease of doing business.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Okay, so welcome back to Ion Port, and today, like I announced earlier, we are fighting COVID-19 and public health threats. We're also looking at the role of the international maritime health facilities that we have around the port space. You recall last week we played a video here for you, taking a look at 1918, what happened with the Spanish flu at that time, and the fact that there were a lot of reports that Ghana recorded cases through the coastline, using ships coming into the system. Now, for some time now, we haven't seen that happen. When Ebola came, the ports were not used as conduit to import them. Same with COVID-19. You realize that none has been recorded through importation from the seaport. That's why it's important we celebrate the people who are working so hard to ensure that none of these happen. So today we're going to celebrate as well as talk a lot about what these folks are doing. The International Maritime Hospital is one of those facilities that we're going to talk about today. And we're fortunate to have in the studio the Chief Executive Officer of the International Maritime Hospital himself, Dr. Sylvester Yao Opong, in the studio. Doc, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Also in the studio is a Dr. Helen Tete. She's the Head of Clinical Services, International Maritime Hospital. Dr. Tete, pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
And also Dr. Ya Echan Boateng is a family physician specialist, International Maritime Hospital. Dr. Echan Boateng, pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So before we even begin the conversation, I know that there's some wonderful piece that you have put together, began the education and explaining the COVID-19, what people need to do in different languages, which is something we don't often see. We're going to let viewers watch that one real quick, and then we'll come back, deal with some few other things, and then we'll commence the conversation. So let's take a listen. We have Gan, we have, I think, Dagbani, and all the rest.
Me Mofra Doctor International Maritime Hospital. Many will become coronavirus area abano huasem kakra. Coronavirus, yari mwa wan kiti bi ayentumi mfa ye ni enhu. Ye wo mwa horo bebre nanso nansen mu no foforo bi aba edi nipa nya pa wo ama horo bebre so. Na ye no ho asem na mene wo bekan. Sa coronavirus yare no yare a esan pa na kwan a efa so san ne se obi nya bi na se opowa gu so ana se obinti gu so a utumi nya yare ni bi ana so obi a wanya bi ebowa egu beebi a ye taade ye nsaka se epono ano ana epono so ana se beebi na wo so de won sakoka ekọ wanima enam soma yare ni bi eba oso se yare mwa no bi ba ye mu a enyini wadi amu ara na emometumi tena nipadua ni be se enam yenu ana se enkosi be se na wotwe mienu ansa na eyini ho adi na yare ya ye ka ho asem no nso no ye ni edro ana se vaccine bia ye de bebo ye ho ban se ne be ya yare ni bi emba yenu se coronavirus yare ni bi ba obi mu a ensenchani a edi woni pa ni mu no ebi ni ewa ahohye se ohumi a ensi so minimukuo sipaye ridie mu yaw ayentuo na ebi mu mpode eba ne se amuno mu ho ara no won hwene entumi nte pampan bi ana se won tethrema entumi ente del biara coronavirus no kwa efa so chiri pano eba nso ewo nipa ahuru mu ebi mu de ano eju na ebi mu so de ano ede pa se ebi mu mpofa so ehwe won kra ya enkwa esombu bebre ema oman Ghana nti esese ye be modern pi se ye be so coronavirus ya we nano na entini enkwa etri bebre. I am Dr. Barbara Aisha Anawana Kabo, an emergency physician with International Maritime Hospital. Today, I'm here to share some information about coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. What is coronavirus, one may ask? Coronavirus is from a family of viruses, some of which cause infections, others don't. A new type was discovered that causes acute respiratory illnesses, which was now named COVID, also known as coronavirus infection. This coronavirus infection can be transmitted from person to person through droplets. Droplet just means that when a person coughs, talks, or breathes, small invisible particles are expelled into the air and can come into contact with the next person or land on surfaces. These surfaces include your phones, laptops, door handles, tables and chairs, and the next person who touches such tables or surfaces carries these infections to the mouth, the nose, or the eyes. Currently, coronavirus infection has no vaccine. When you are exposed to somebody who has the infection, you can develop symptoms within 14 days. These symptoms are very, very common. Some of these symptoms include a fever, also known as temperature in certain settings, a cough, a sore throat, or you can actually develop difficulty in breathing, which just means that you will have tightness in your chest when you are breathing or carrying out any normal day activity. You can also develop diarrhea, muscle aches, and one fascinating symptom is that you will lose your sense of smell or taste. Coronavirus infection, the symptoms can range from mild, one of it being asymptomatic. Asymptomatic just means that you may not have any symptoms at all, and the disease process can gradually worsen to be a severe form, the severest being ultimately death. Every life in Ghana, to that extent, Africa matters, and it's up to us all to join hands to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
Imbeji Dr. Dorothy Hansen, the Introni International Maritime Hospital. Inko bagba COVID-19 alo coronavirus hela hene bajele mi hesanifio. Miniji COVID-19 alo coronavirus ne. Mawa ibibi kumeni. Ni mawa ine ke amesa odbomocho here ame HARBOUR hela ye omumo defan. Ke ohesa mawa ine here eyo kejedbi enyo kashi ochi enyo dani okadie baji amehetu. Mekume na menye ni okadie kubamehi shi ameye hela ni amekenchengemo hela ba chengemo ko hisa nu wata nije mukoni yo hela ko chinemo alo eriomohe okadie ni bahani onaka oye hela ko ji ohe banye do oba wulo ogo ba hunu oba chine e ojamba wo he oba na sen kaka mekume musunchon mekume nu ni enihe Chiton boni nke jemo femo ba chon okadi na eko hela ye mle omi ekume hu miwa ekume hu obado ni dele fita hela na he wo echon ake mo femo ni ba na hela ibado chika ofe ni bi na akafoshi akesa ni wo fe wo fe ni hela ko akasa o he onan hela o wala hehia ni wo ni ha wo fi anonisa ni wo kemo COVID-19 hela ne na
Dr. Joanna Jimayeboa, Head of Nursing with International Maritime Hospital. I am coming to demonstrate how to use hand sanitizer correctly. It is important we sanitize our hands as often as we can. We are expected to sanitize our hands when our hands are not visibly soiled or you can't really see dirt on your hands. If you can see dirt on your hands, the best thing to do is to wash your hands with soap and the running water. If you have to use the hand sanitizer, first of all, you are expected to check the alcohol content of the hand sanitizer and make sure it is not less than 70%. Now, when your hands are visibly soiled, as I've already said, use soap and running water. When you are coming to use the hand sanitizer, your hands are already soiled or contaminated. So, advisably, you are not supposed to touch the dispensing area. You are supposed to use the inner parts of your wrist to dispense the sanitizer. I'm going to go through few recommended steps by the World Health Organization. You have to dispense enough, about 3 to 5 ml. The first thing is to dip the fingertips into the sanitizer. And then you sanitize the fingertips first. When you are done, then you pour the sanitizer into the other hand and then you sanitize the fingertips of the opposite hand. When you are done, you start rubbing the sanitizer in between the palm. You rub the sanitizer in between the palm. Make sure you apply friction. Then you turn the hand and sanitize the back of the left or the right hand, depending on which one you start with. Then you send it to the opposite hand. Then you sanitize in between the fingers. See how I'm doing my hand. When you are done, you cup the hand and then you sanitize the back of the finger. When you are done, you sanitize the thumb. And then you end by sanitizing about 1 to 2 inches above the wrist. So your hand is well sanitized. With this, all areas are covered. It is important we wash our hands after we sanitize it for about 3 to 5 times. Let us all keep safe, protect ourselves, and protect our loved ones during this era of COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much.
Sunana Jennifer Kessie, ni secretary ne a International Maritime Hospital. Coronavirus din nan akwai da yawa, amma wanda ya fito yanzu wanda zai iya kashe mutum. Amma kafin mu san wai gaskiya mun samu coronavirus, ciwon coronavirus din nan, sai mun je asibiti an gwada an giya mana wai gaskiya muna da shi. Kuma in mun san wai muna da ciwon kai, ciwon kirji, ciwon ciki, zafin jiki, ciwon nufashi, mu je asibiti mu giya musu. Ciwon nan bayi da magani yanzu. 'Yan uwa, mu taimake kanmu, mu wanke hannunmu kullum da ruwa da sabulu ko mu yi amfani da hand sanitizer. Kullum kafin mu fita a gida, mu sa fuskokin fuska, kar mu fita ba mu sa ba. Kuma in mun fita, kar mu shiga cikin wuraren da mutane sun yi yawa. In kuma muna tari, mu yi shi a jirwan hannunmu ko mu yi amfani da tissue sai mu yar a cikin dustbin. Za mu iya mu taimake kanmu kuma in mun ci abinci mai kyau wanda zai iya taimake lafiyar rayuwarmu. Kuma in wuraren da mun san wai mutane suna tattaba da hannu, kullum mu dinga share shi da disinfectant. Wuri kamar kujera, hannun kofanmu, hannun gadonmu, a cikin ofis namu, duka kullum mu yi kokari mu dinga share shi da sanitizer. 'Yan uwa, don Allah don Annabi, in mun san wai mun yi kusa da wani da ya samu ciwon nan, mu boye kanmu a wani wuri ma kwana 14 ko mu kira namban da yana screen din nan mun san kuma wai mun samu duk abubuwan da na giya muku kamar tari, ciwon ciki, ciwon cirgi ko ciwon nufashi, mun je mu giya musu duka abubuwan da ke faru da mu, kar mu yi karya, don muna son kowa ya samu lafiya, ba ma son ciwon nan ya kashe kowa. 'Yan uwa mu taimake kanmu.
Okay, so we've taken time to play some of those videos for you to see, because we realize that most of the education that's going on around, you don't hear much of the other languages there. So that's what the IMA, the International Maritime Hospital, folks have been able to put together, and it was important to bring them to you for you to be able to listen, particularly if you're not one who speaks English, and almost all the education that you hear all the time is in English. We're going to go and talk to the Honorable Deputy Minister for Transport. When we come back, we will delve into the health issues deeper. So the Accra Metropolitan Authority has begun demolishing those facilities around where we're expected to have a fishing harbour. Let's look at that picture quickly, and then we speak to the Honorable Deputy Minister of Transport.
The Accra Metropolitan Assembly has demolished hundreds of structures at the Jamestown Beach Enclave to pave the way for work to begin on the Jamestown Fishing Harbour project. The demolition exercise saw city officials and armed policemen storm the coastal community to pull down a string of wooden structures and other buildings. Earlier in April, the Deputy Minister of Transport, during the official handing over of the site to the contractors, met with constituents of the community to discuss how the demolition exercise can be peacefully executed.
Money has been made available, provision has been made. Anybody here within the area, the geographical area where the construction is going to start, whether you have a wooden structure, block work, whatever, and it's been affected, AMA has taken enumeration. They've counted almost everybody here. So I don't want a situation where you are not part of those who are counted. Then you begin to attack my brother Honorable Ajeso.
He revealed that a suitable compensation fee has been arranged for legitimate residents who will be affected by the exercise. However, reports suggest some members of the fishing community who work in the current canoe basin are unwilling to make room for contractors to take over and start engineering processes on that part of the site. The Jamestown Fishing Harbour project, which is in 3 phases, is expected to be completed within 32 months. It involves the dredging of about 118,000 cubic meters harbour basin and shipping channels, construction of hydraulic structures composed of berths, seawall, and a breakwater, and construction of administration, production, and supporting facilities, including an office building, kindergarten, trading market, processing area, commercial area, and other production and supporting facilities.
So we're joined on the line by the Deputy Minister for Transport and Member of Parliament, Honourable Member of Parliament for Tema East, Honourable Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sami.
We saw in the piece there that you've already begun this demolition, but I also pick up from reports that some of the residents are not too happy about the demolition because they're claiming you didn't even inform them. If you can highlight what level of negotiation went into that before the demolition began.
First of all, let me say Bakari Sallah to all your viewers, and most especially your medical doctors on the panel to do an extensive discussion on COVID-19. On the contrary, there was a stakeholder engagement prior to handing over of the site to the contractor. I recall AMA, which is the Metropolitan Administrative Head, within the area where we're going to do the construction, in consultation with the ministry, engage stakeholders. We had a lot of discussion in terms of the scope, the job that is going to be done by the contractor, the benefits that will go to the community.
Okay. And
for that matter, we entreated everybody to cooperate with government to enable us to take off successfully.
Okay.
This fishing port, if you recall, has been on the drawing board for a very long time. But His Excellency the President, I recall, during our campaign in 2009, at that very spot, we had a meeting with the fishermen. And that question was asked as to what is he going to do if he wins the 2012 elections. Thankfully, that did not happen. But when he assumed the reins of power in 2016, 2017, he charged my minister and that of the Minister for Finance that we should be able to look for funding to do this Jamestown port together with 10 different landing beach sites within the coastal belt. So to answer your question, it is not true that the people within the Jamestown beach were never consulted. The AMA has gone to the grounds. They have given them ample time that they need to leave. And even when the date was due, a moratorium was also given to them so that those that are unable to start packing will have the opportunity again to pack off.
Okay.
And you know this construction is with time.
Yeah.
They've signed contract with government.
Okay.
Therefore, there is no way we allow time to elapse.
Okay.
They have to move to the ground.
Okay. So
as I speak, AMA took all the area that is earmarked for the project. People that are affected, their structures have all been counted. And provision has been made for these people, depending on the value of structure that you have on that space.
So, Honorable Titles, what about the canoe, the men who operate on the canoes around the canoe basin there who are resisting
I
to
recall
move?
that the day I represented my minister to hand over the site to the contractor, my attention was drawn. And the fact that they told us that going towards Kolebu, around the Kole, the estuary, where the Kole enters the sea, we were taking there, myself, my chief director, the contractors, the parliamentary candidates for the duty, and the sub-metro chairman for the area, to say that we have to re-evacuate the fishermen temporarily around that area. Therefore, they will need some sort of, some little dredging to enable the canoe to pass under the bridge into the college, so it will be more safer for them and all that.
And has that been done?
Subsequently, my minister invited the contractors and appealed to them, because when we are going to start the construction, that is where the canoe normally berths to discharge and also go to fishing. Therefore, on the temporary, they need to come towards this new place that has been earmarked, so that when the construction done, they can go back into the Jamestown Harbour Fishing Harbour to do the work. As I speak to you now, this afternoon, I spoke to a sub-metro chairman. Initially, when they agreed that the Chinese should try and prepare the place for them, they said the tide is so high there. They decided to go to extension of where the construction is going to start. But the Chinese told them that it is part of the construction area, and for that matter, it is impossible for them to use that. So they've agreed now to come back to the old place that they earmark for the place to be prepared for them. So
okay, so now they've agreed to move, or they are going to be there for a while? You're saying that they've agreed to move to the new site?
Because they'll be there for a while until the construction is over.
And won't that hamper the construction process?
It's about 36 months, I guess, 32, 36 months.
Okay, so you think you still have some time?
Of course,
okay.
Because where they wanted, they are currently is where the construction is going to start.
Okay.
And the second spot that they earmarked when they took us to the Kole area, the estuary, they were again told that they cannot use it because it's part of the construction area.
Okay.
Therefore, they need to come back to the first place that they showed us. So they've agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. So this week, I will visit the site with the GPHA team, the consultant, and the submitting chairman, if possible, the AMA chief executive, so that we'll look at what we can all do together. Because AMA is a key partner in this project.
Okay.
Because they are the land administrators of the Accra metropolitan area. So they cannot be taken out at all from this project.
We'll definitely be following keenly on this particular matter, Honorable. And I'm sure that we'll find another time, probably delve deeper into some of the infrastructure projects that you have going on and the updates as far as progress is concerned. Appreciate your time. So that Daniel Nikwate, titles Glover, is the Deputy Minister of Transport, also Member of Parliament for Tema East. So back in the studio, we're talking fighting COVID-19, another public health threat, the role of international maritime health facilities. And Dr. Sylvester Yao Opon is the CEO of International Maritime Hospital, together with Head of Clinical Services International Maritime Hospital, Dr. Helen Tete, and Dr. Ya Echabwate, family physician and specialist, IMA as well. Doc, let me start with you. How is IMA doing now? In the midst of all this heat.
Yeah, thank you. Before I go on, today is Eid al-Fitr, so permit me to extend warm felicitations to our Muslim brothers. We have quite a number of Muslims at IMA and at GPHA in general. And some of them are also our friends in the population. So we wish you all Eid Mubarak as you celebrate Eid al-Fitr. Now back to your question. IMA is doing well under the circumstances. Things have slowed down a bit compared to the pre-COVID-19 era, but generally I would say IMA is doing well. Things slowed down drastically, but it's beginning to pick up.
When you say things have slowed down, what do you mean? Are people not showing up, patients not showing up as is expected, or what?
Yes, patient numbers dropped, and I believe it's not just in IMA.
Okay.
Generally across the country, people began to stay at home and not to go to hospital until it got to critical conditions. And then also, you see, the whole thing came with some kind of fear and panic. Yeah. And people thought that if you didn't have to go out, or especially to hospitals, that they thought that you could go and then contract the disease. So patient numbers dropped drastically.
I see. So contrary to what maybe some of us will be thinking, that by now the hospitals are full with people and all of that, it's not exactly like that, because people are rather staying off from hospitals?
Yes, people are staying away until it's really necessary. So if people have, for example, mild cold or something that is not so serious, they'd rather stay at home. And then there are also some avenues for people to contact some hospitals virtually. Okay. And then we will talk about some of the initiatives that we took at IMA, so that instead of people coming to hospital for relatively minor ailments, they could stay at home and then contact us virtually through mobile platforms and then get the necessary advice.
Okay, so maybe that could be the reason why physically people are not showing up physically at your premises, right?
Yes, partly. Yes,
partly.
Yes, partly.
Okay.
Yes.
But Dr. Tete, if you can also help us, what's been the general picture of healthcare going on around IMA? You know, people you're attending to, what sort of diseases are showing up, even though, you know, limited number of people are showing up.
Okay. So thanks for the opportunity to be here. And I just want to follow the example of my CEO, that we are here celebrating our frontliners. And so we want to celebrate all our nurses, all our doctors, all our other health workers in IMA. It's been a challenging time, but we want to say thank you for staying and thank you for all the hard work that we are doing at IMA. And we hope that we'll continue to work together so that we can deliver quality healthcare to our clients. And so, like Dr. Pond said, generally, things are not the same. And it isn't only at IMA. I think that is a global thing that with COVID-19, almost every facet of our lives has changed. But more especially, healthcare has changed. It's changed because that is the place that people who get infected would have to come to and be taken care of. And yet, you know the way that the disease is transmitted, and so when you come and you're taking care of somebody like that, you know that if you don't protect yourself and you don't take good care of yourself, you're likely to get the disease. And so that has affected the way we do a lot of things. The way you coming as a client has changed. Previously, you could just walk into the hospital, you just drive through, walk through our reception area, and that's it. We take care of you. But currently, we've had to put in measures so that we help to control the spread. So as you come into our facility, at the main entrance, the screening, which is ongoing, we'll check your temperature, and then we'll ask you a few questions, just so that if it's likely that you have the disease, we can easily take you aside and start questioning you a bit more, examining you a bit more, and then do the further things that we have to do. Now, I think this now is something that's happening all over Ghana, that you can't enter the facility without wearing a face mask.
Okay.
And so as you also go through the gate, we insist that you wear your face mask. If you don't have one, as you come through, we would have to give you a face mask because we need to protect ourselves and to protect you as well.
And so you have that available? You have spares? Face
oh, yes.
masks
So if you're coming to IMA and you don't have a face mask, we would give you a face mask. So that is ongoing. And then we also notice that one of the ways that the disease is spread is through contact as you touch surfaces. And so it's mandatory that as you come into the facility, you wash your hands. So there are provisions made at vantage points so that you can wash your hands as you enter. And then also you sanitize your hands. So that is also in there. Again, we know that we want to practice social distancing and limit the number of people who come into the facility. If you don't really have to come, then the advice is that don't come. But if, for instance, you have relatives who are on admission and you would have to come and visit, we are restricting the number of people who can visit a client. You know, that has changed. Previously, there were no restrictions. But because of COVID, that has also changed. So in terms of how patients will see things being done, all these which were not there currently now are in place. And previously we didn't have a lot of posters, education on COVID, but as you enter the facilities now, it's clearly displayed that you should wear your face masks. There are information about how COVID is spread and how you should take care of yourself. So those are the things that have changed so far as the patient who comes in will see.
And that brings me to some of the videos I've seen Dr. Yacha do, some of how to wear nose mask and all of that. I'm sure we'll see a few coming up shortly. And even we saw Dr. Ajiman also demonstrating the hand sanitizers and all of that. But how are people receiving this? How are your patients receiving all these huge information that is being bombarded on them? Because ordinarily people would not walk into your hospitals and expect it to be in ninja kind of style and all of that.
Thank you for having us. I'd like to say people are generally receiving the information well. It's a global issue. This is a pandemic that is affecting almost every country. So there's information from World Health Organization, CDC, and then Ghana Health Service. So there's a lot of information out there. And I think the reception has been good. Our clients who come in, they seem to be okay, and they seem to be happy with the systems we have in place. There's general information. You may not be a medical person, so you may not get into all the scientific aspects of it, but the general things like washing your hands with soap under running water, sanitizing your hands with alcohol-based hand sanitizers, covering your cough with tissue or your elbow, general things, keeping your distance, not going for social gatherings, and wearing your face mask. These are general things and easy things, if I may say, for people to accept and do. Even though our lives have changed, I think people are getting on the wagon of protecting themselves because nobody wants to get infected with the coronavirus.
Do you think people are accepting it? Really? Is it catching like that?
There are people who are not accepting. I mean, we see the various videos on social media.
It's a more okay.
So that is why IMA has come up with all these videos in different languages to help some of the Ghanaians who do not understand English, so that they also know that, yes, there's really something out there called COVID-19. Maybe there's the English videos they don't understand. So we've made something for them in the local dialects so that they would also really get to understand that, yes, coronavirus is real, and they also need to protect themselves.
And you operate in Tema, so you have, in Tema you would definitely have the middle class, you would also have maybe the lower class, if you say lower middle income class, and all of that. What's the level of acceptance as far as some of these education that you're putting out there is concerned? So you have this tree, you have this GA. What motivated you to do the GA, and for who? Who was your target? What motivated you to do the tree? Who was your target at all?
Okay, so yes, we are an international hospital, but we receive all, should I say, all sorts of clients from different backgrounds. We see everybody. There have been times where people have come to the consulting room. Unfortunately, I only speak English and Tree. There are people who speak Ga, so we have to get people to translate. So people come and speak in different languages. We need to get people to translate. So the whole point was to get something for everybody.
Okay.
We have a lot of clientele who speak Ga, a lot.
Okay.
So we had to cater to that group.
Okay. And Dr. Tete, you've been going to, I've seen you go to Obonu and all of that, getting a lot of responses from the community. Do you think some of these messages are catching up with the rank and file, the ordinary?
Yeah, I think also answering yours and adding to what Yas said, you know, there's something, you understand English, you communicate in English, but there's something about communicating in your own language. Which brings certain understandings which you can easily relate with. And we did one education on Obunu FM for COVID. And most of the people who listen to those stations are typical Ga Adangbe folks, you know. And the reception, the response was surprising. So you could tell that they need a channel like that just to explain things in their own language. And so for us, it's good that we were able to reach them on radio, but you know, when there are audiovisuals, it just sends the message even more better. So that's why we want to do it in this way. I don't know, there's a social media one where even for my people, you know, the guys pronouncing even the COVID-19 is a struggle. You know, and they call it anti-koro, you know. But when you're able to bring it down like that, then it's something they can easily relate to it.
Okay. And Dr. Pong, globally, do you think we have handled this whole pandemic as well as it needed to have handled?
Thank you, Sami. Looking back, we see that globally, I think we were a bit slow.
Okay.
You can see the chaos, apparent chaos in even some of the developed countries. Nobody would have thought that a country like the USA would have been brought on its knees. Shortage of PPEs, common things like face masks, etc. Ventilators were out of, so people were actually taken by surprise. So I think that there are two things. Either the response wasn't deep enough and fast enough, or the anticipated effect was
they underestimated the magnitude.
Exactly, yes. There was a gross underestimation of what this could do, because as far back as January, people were still talking about it, but you could see that country responses were quite minimal. But having said that, after the virus took hold of us, more or less, the response has been quite good. Countries began to put structures in place. Those of us in Africa, maybe we were lucky because we were the last to.
I was going to say, did we have time enough to?
Yeah, we had time
in
to put things in place, and even when the virus came here, the anticipated spread and all that, as compared to Europe and North America, hasn't been so. But so we've been able to catch up in Africa, contrary to a lot of things that people expected. Yeah. So health-wise, the global response, even though slow initially, has been quite good. Just that in certain countries we were just overwhelmed.
But what do you think could have accounted for the Africa one? I spoke to a friend in Italy. They have their second phase running now, and he said he really doesn't get how we've been that lucky, Africa. What do you think could have accounted for that?
Indeed, if you look at our socio-economic circumstances in Africa, it is something that would have been a fertile ground for the virus, because the way we live communally. Yeah. You go to a house, you have a family house, everybody is there, we interact, we eat together and all that. And that is what the virus likes so much to be transmitted. What is going probably for Africa, maybe is the sunshine and the temperature. And then also the level of humidity. Because in those places where the weather is very cold, you see that transmission of the virus is very high. And previous pandemics and previous epidemics too had showed that the virus could be transmitted more easily at lower temperatures. And indeed, one of the things that can kill the virus is the solar energy, sunshine. Okay, we are not advocating that people should go and stay in the sun, because if you have the virus, it's in you. So if you go and stay in the sun will not enter you to kill the virus, like injecting disinfectant to kill a virus within you. That is not the point. But the point is that if you have a virus out there, or a virus on the surface, and let's say that this table is out there in sunshine, then the virus will, the half-life or the lifespan of the virus in that sunny environment will be so short, so that the virus will be killed even before it is transmitted to somebody. So I think that the short life of the virus in that environment is so short, and the shorter it is, the less the degree of transmission. I think that that is what is helping us, because we are not doing anything so different or so magical compared to those other areas where they had overwhelming infections. Yeah.
Dr. Tete, would you say that the whole world, and maybe us here, we've been overwhelmed by information? When this whole thing broke, we could hear that if you touch this, you will get it. If you block that, you will get it. If you don't do that, you get it. As time moves on, we hear another information coming up. Is it the case that we didn't have concise information from the beginning? And for those of you who are in the clinical services and all of that, what accounted for that vast information that we were bombarded with?
I think from the name of the virus, it's called a novel coronavirus. Novel means that this is something new. This is something that we haven't experienced amongst humans before. And I think that when China started describing what they were seeing, I dare to say that most people thought that this is something just to do with China.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've heard it, but you're really not doing anything about it. Until they started recording the deaths, the high rate of the infections. And then everybody now started listening.
It took interest.
That, okay, there's something else going on. And then it started spreading. Now, the information that we have received is things that are discovered as we go along, because nobody knew about this virus. This is the first time that it's infecting humans, even though we knew that it is there, but it lives with animals. Okay, so as people now see what is happening, the way people present, the kind of symptoms they come with when they come to hospital, what do you see? Even the treatment, it was a lot of trials, you know, okay, let's try and do this, let's try and do this, we don't get any response, you do this, you get a response. And so that is bound to happen. And so as everybody now began following, you realize that you'll be bombarded with information. But as to how authentic each of these are, you know, you can't tell, because most of these were not proven.
Yeah.
But we in Ghana now, you know, we are at an advantage in that what the other people in Europe have gone through and what they have discovered, we now have the advantage to use that to our advantage now. Even in Ghana, I think that there are people who, it got to a point where all they were listening to was CNN.
Yeah.
You know, just keeping track of, okay, what's happening with America today? What's happening with the UK today? How are the numbers? How are they managing? But generally as a human being, after a while, when every single day you are bombarded, and this is bad news and bad news and bad news, you know, it begins to get to you.
Yeah.
So I think that there are some people who generally are now tired. And you ask them, what is the current case count in Ghana? And they're just not interested. Because it's like you've listened over and over again, and you don't see anything positive happening. You know, it's always the cases are increasing. The cases are increasing. You're looking at how many recoveries you're having. And just as the cases are increasing, you expect that you get boom recoveries. But it's not happening like that. So people get tired. But then the danger there is that in the midst of all these, there are important discoveries that are being made.
Yeah.
And so when you stop following, when you get tired, especially as clinicians, there'll be something in there that will be important for you, something in there that will be useful to you. You know, like initially there was no specific treatment, and then now you're talking about, as Isumai working. Now, if you stop following, you will have clients that you might need to treat them. And so you can't, even though it's something you wouldn't want to do, or you get tired, you would still have to continue.
And don't you think that it may get to a point where people themselves will begin to say, listen, this thing we're having tired, I don't want to follow, people, not necessarily the health professionals, and say that, look, whatever happens, let it just flow. At least I'll just wear my mask, I'll wash my hands and do all, but I don't follow again.
Okay, if people do what they have to do, and don't follow the detailed information, that will be good.
Number of deaths, number of recoveries,
that will be good for us as a country. But then even in Accra here, with all the social media, with all the what's going on TV, on radio, I mean, you step out, Tema, Accra, you don't see people practicing social distance. People are still walking out there without face masks, and as if it's business as usual. You know, you go to the market, and it's the same way that people were doing things, as if nothing has happened. And that is the one which is worrying. So if the ordinary person will not even be interested in the detailed information, but you keep your face masks on anytime you're stepping out, you wash your hands, you use your hand sanitizer, and use it appropriately, keep the social distancing, I think it will help all of us. And that is our campaign, really.
Okay.
That so far as you are in Ghana, this is what we have agreed to do, and this is what has been found to work so far as coronavirus spread is concerned. Take it serious. People are, I've seen some things on social media that if you wear a face mask for a long time, you start getting hypoxia.
Hypoxia. So that, yes, I've heard it, but what's the hypoxia though?
You know, that you're supposed to take in oxygen.
Okay.
And when you put on the face mask for a long time, the amount of oxygen that you're supposed to take in reduces. So you won't be able to get enough oxygen in your blood. Which is that true? Which is not true. Which is so not true. And the example I usually give with that is that before the general public was asked to wear face masks, in theater, we wear face masks. I mean, that is the practice.
That's the health professionals.
That is the norm.
But the ordinary folks haven't been used to that,
yes.
though.
But then we do cases, so far as you're doing surgery in theater, your face mask is on. And there are times you can do surgery 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. You don't even think about it, that you're not getting up. It doesn't affect you. So if what they're saying is true, we should have been more affected because we do it continuously. And yet we are here.
Okay.
I mean, when you start a practice, it's difficult. It's not something that you're used to. So when people complain about the difficulties, how uneasy it is, now people are talking of ninja look. You can't, the ladies are concerned about you can't do your makeup, you know, your lipstick. If you complain about that, those are genuine, okay? And we will still appeal that. We look at the risk, we compare the risk and the benefits. The benefits far outweighs the risk that is involved. So despite all that, please wear your face mask for us.
But that brings me to something I want to ask Dr. Yachi. I don't know if you are the one in charge of the telemedicine. Are you the one? Or? No. Okay, so you have a telemedicine in place. Okay, but you have a telemedicine in place at IMaH'S.
Yes.
What is that supposed to do? Are people supposed to call for information or what?
In traffic coming into the hospital. So we came up with a telemedicine platform. So here people are able to come online and meet your doctor, have a consultation and get your treatment, and you go on with your life healthily. So that's how come telemedicine.
Okay, and with the fluidity of information that we are talking about and people beginning to get the apathy in complying with some of these protocols and all of that, how is that affecting the sort of message you give to people when they call you on phones?
Okay, so when a lot of people call, they call from the comfort of their home.
Yeah.
At home, you're not expected to wear a face mask and social distance at home. But we always never fail to add that advice at the end of a consultation. Now, coronavirus is like water we drink. You drink it intermittently every day.
It's become part of us.
Yes. So it's been part of, usually for our non-communicable diseases, we are talking about lifestyle modifications and eating healthy. And so coronavirus has become part of the lifestyle modifications. The wearing of face masks when you go out, you will definitely go out at a point in time. You go get groceries, you go out to work, you will go out. So you have to wear your face mask. And the face mask is more effective when you practice physical distancing. It reduces the amount of virus that you can come into contact with. And you need to keep your hands clean. Wash your hands, sanitize your hands with alcohol-based hand sanitizers. This is something we never fail to tell our patients. Whether you come in calling for a hypertensive medication refill, or you're a diabetic, or anything you're calling with, we will always follow up with coronavirus advice.
Okay, but and have you been getting calls? And what sort of calls are there? Because I remember that when nationally, when we had there's a call center that if you have any issue, you have to call and advise. I'm here, I'm feeling so and so, and all of that. What sort of calls? And people were making prank calls into the national platform. What sort of positive responses or negative responses are you receiving through this telemedicine process?
Okay, so we have a very popular number, 055-2222-290. This number is on WhatsApp, and it's on our Facebook page, International Maritime Hospital, GPHA. If you go there, you can get the number. People WhatsApp when they need services. So if they need telemedicine services, we have brochures that we send on social media. It's all over the place with the contact numbers. So just give us a call, and we will schedule you with whichever doctor you want to have a consultation with, and you get it done.
And is the service equal as if I may have shown up at the hospital? People...
some will never be the same because we don't get to touch you.
Okay.
We don't get to touch you to examine you as if you had come into the consulting room. But now with coronavirus around, recommendations are we try and limit physical touch, even during consultations, as much as possible. We are supposed to observe physical distancing in the consulting room. So now when you come, our consulting room setup has changed. You don't get to sit as close to me as you used to.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you are sitting in somewhere, I'm also sitting. We're all
Yes,
protecting each other. And everybody is happy because I'm protecting myself and I'm protecting you. The patients know we are protecting them too. So we care about them.
They understand that?
Yes, they understand.
Okay.
Some will even question you if you are not observing some things.
That's interesting.
That helps, yes.
That's interesting, and that's good. But let me just say that, you know, as we're having this conversation, but if you want to join, though, the number that you can send us a WhatsApp on is 055-901-9177. The WhatsApp number again is 055-901-9177. The number that you can call will be, it is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. I'm sure at the appropriate time they will open the phone lines and you can ask the doctors any question. They're from the International Maritime Hospital. They've done so well keeping the gates for this country, and they continue to do so much. And that's what we're trying to digest here. Find out exactly what they're doing there and what advantage you can also take of that hospital. Dr. Pong, the thing I want to find out is IMA itself. Had you prepared for any form of pandemic of this nature? Is the hospital capable? Is it prepared for anything of this nature? Any public health threats? So that something like this won't hit you hard. Of course, it's new. It may come with some consequences that probably a few hitches, but had you prepared enough? Aside COVID-19, we had Ebola. Should we ever have any public health threat? Is IMA always there?
Yes, thank you, Sami. As far as COVID is concerned, I mean, I can tell you that nobody, no country or no facility was prepared to the scale of this.
Okay.
But IMA...
Even though, like you said earlier, Ghana, for instance, had enough time after we had seen the Wuhan, we had seen Italy and all of that.
Yeah, so that is when they started preparing. And some structures were put in place to meet it. But generally, IMA, these are also related to best practices in healthcare. So for a hospital, you should always have anticipated infectious disease. So whatever that you do as a health facility, you should have some level of preparedness.
Okay.
And that should be incorporated into your standard operating procedures.
Okay.
So we are prepared, or we were prepared for some form of a likely infectious disease that could be handled as far as our protocols were concerned. But generally, we were not anticipating something to this scale. But as the problem came, our response to was very proactive and very good. As Dr. Tete initially told you about all the things, the protocol that we put into place to handle or to manage the situation. So I think that we've handled it very well, and we keep handling it. And we are also taking part in the national education. You see all the videos that we did, different languages. It's not just for IMA, but we know that these are videos that can be shared. For example, you just played it, and people are listening to it. So it's a way of also helping this. We even offered our services or some of our facilities to the Ministry of Health, that they could use them in case they needed to do some of the case management. So I think that we have done our bit in terms of the COVID response.
Okay. What sort of facilities do you have that you can quickly run through to let us know that indeed, like you said, you have been prepared or you are prepared for any form of health outbreak or whatsoever? What's the level of capacity that you have?
The level of capacity for this in COVID management, there's the community level, then the interface with the healthcare facility. And the healthcare facility for, first of all, identifying people who may have the disease, and then following the necessary protocols to send them to Ghana Health Service Centers, and then also having case management centers in the hospitals. At IMA, education or interfacing with the community, public health, we've done very well at that. And then patients coming into the hospital and if they want to, they feel that they have symptoms, or we identify that they are likely to have COVID, we have places where we isolate them. We arrange to take samples to Noguchi for testing. We have holding bay that we will hold them there until the results are brought in. We have a counseling unit where we counsel people where if the results are positive or negative. We have ventilators that should the need be, we can also admit and then care for a seriously ill person. So I suspect that we have the whole gamut of management for COVID. But you know that for national coordination, etc., there are designated centers where when these cases come, they are transferred to. But we have the capacity to do all the spectrum of things that
So for sampling, for instance, do you do do you take samples there?
So we have a schedule for regular testing. So currently what we are saying is that if anybody walk into IMA and says that I think I've been exposed, or because of one or two reasons I want to be tested, we offer that service. Okay. And so we have specific days where we would take the sample, and then when the results come, we would communicate that to you. Once we are doing that, we also test our inpatients. So if somebody comes and the person comes with any condition, we suspect that this is COVID or has other things associated with it. So like as CEO said, we have an isolation place where we hold the person, take the sample, continue to treat you until the results come. And we've done several of those since this pandemic.
I see. And people have come for testing and all of that.
Oh, people are coming for testing.
Have you recorded cases though?
We have, but you know that.
I noticed the sigh.
The sigh. the sigh, it's heavy because as much as we're doing a lot of education about COVID, I'm sure you've also heard that there's a lot of stigmatization within the public so far as COVID is concerned. And so we like to keep some of this information
which is very good.
Quite private. But once you're testing, definitely you'll get some positives.
I see. I see. But if I live, and so which people can call you and say, either through your telemedicine processes or walk physically to your facility and say, I feel this way and I want to come and test, or can people just call you?
In fact, you don't even have to walk to the facility.
Okay.
You can just call our phone number. So 055-222-2290.
That's the phone number for
That's
IMA.
The phone number.
Okay, we're going to have this it displayed on the screen
and
as
so
well.
Once you call the number, just say what you want. We will arrange for you to be tested. So you will just have to come in at the time that is scheduled for you, and we do the test for you. So it's quite simple. You don't need to be registered as a client. You can just have your test done.
Okay.
Can I add?
Yes, please.
So all this came about because we had patients walking in any day, any time. Oh, I want to get tested. Do you test? And people come in to test because they think maybe they've been infected. That's why they want to test. Some too just want to know their status.
Yeah.
But to protect staff and to protect other patients around, we decided instead of people just walking in, let's streamline things. So you call, we prefer you call rather than come into the hospital. So call that number. A nice gentleman will talk to you, collect your details and forward it to one of our doctors. The doctor will call you back and screen you. And if you're eligible for testing, you are booked and scheduled for a day. So our testing days our sample taking days are Wednesdays and Saturdays between 2 and 3 p.m.
Wednesdays and Saturdays, 2 and 3 p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
So we would WhatsApp you the procedure for when you come, what to do. So when you come, you don't come into the hospital. We have a very airy area that we have designated for the sample taken. So when you come, you go, the security will direct you to that area. And if you're in your car, you stay in your car. If you're walking, we have seats that are physically distanced so that we're observing that you take a seat and your sample will be taken. After that, when the results come, we WhatsApp you the results if they are negative, and we follow up with a phone call to discuss the results. A doctor will call you to follow up and discuss the results with you, even if it's negative. And any other issues you have, we deal with it. And unfortunately, if you turn out to be positive, then we will call and bring in
the other processes continue. But so did you say that if those who are suspected or those who are coming for testing have a separate place from your regular OPD where you have them?
Yes.
I see.
Yes. We want to protect our staff. We also want to protect other clients that come to the hospital. And we also want to protect you yourself coming in.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's why we've designated a special area for the testing.
And to what extent has that helped in protecting your staff? Because we've heard some, sad stories or unpleasant stories of other health professionals getting infected because either they were not aware of who they were coming in contact with and all of that. They were not properly prepared to meet such people and all of that. How has it helped you and your colleagues at the hospitals?
Okay, so as much as all staff are usually adequately protected, you're wearing the appropriate PPE for whichever area you are working, we still have to make sure we clip all the little spaces through which infection can occur. So as much as our staff are all adequately gowned, we still need to protect them, and that is why we've designated a special area. Because ideally, if you want to test, the presumption is, why would you want to test? Do you think you're infected? And if you're infected, you become a suspected case. And every person now is a suspected COVID case until proven otherwise. Yeah. So we need to protect you and then also protect others from contracting the virus.
Okay. So somebody wants your number displayed on your screen. So my producer, Solomon Anderson and Lawrence Gaze, if you can begin to display the numbers on the screen, I think we should be getting that. There's one side that interests me. I know that IMA has a very fine, there's a particular facility that as soon as you mention, people go that way, mortuary. So yes, I hear your mortuary is as beautiful as whatever it is, but in this, just in this space, in this time of COVID, and few times that I've spoken to you, quite often it's full to capacity. What's the state now? And some hospitals are already crying that their places are gone haywire. So what's the current state now?
Yes, thank you. You see, the mortuary has been one of the hottest areas in the hospital during this area. There was a time that we virtually had a nightmare because we didn't know where we were going to put bodies. Bodies it was full to capacity. And one thing with IMA is that we always want to satisfy our clients. We don't want to disappoint people, especially people who have so much trust in us. So we managed to get a cold room, to add a makeshift cold room to ease the situation. But it is almost full. Luckily, after the lifting of the lockdown, we had a few people coming in to collect bodies for private burial. Okay. And that dropped the number a bit, but only for us to get a lot more to virtually fill it to capacity. We also have a hall within the mortuary itself. We have a hall that people can hold just small church service. It can take about 50 people in the normal circumstance, but because of social distancing, we want to limit it to 25 in consistency with what the president said for the national policy. So I think that we've been helping people also to organize such small burial services, and then from there they take their bodies away.
And how has the compliance to some of these policies been received by the community?
By and large, it's been received well. Some people, when they come and they will tell them that you can do this, you cannot do that, they comply because they know that times are not the same. Some mortuaries, you go there and Kolebu mortuary, for example, sometimes on Fridays, Saturdays, you see a lot of people just trooping, running, and then beating drums and all that to the mortuary. But these days, I think those practices have stopped. People are more sober. I think that one thing that COVID has done is that it's letting us become sober, go back to human values, and then probably cutting off a lot of unnecessary things that we've been doing without thinking. And I'm even hoping that after COVID, funerals will be scaled down. Okay, because now you see that when people come to the morgue and they come for their bodies, and you see some sadness in them. Unlike other times when maybe people gather, eat kenke, drumming, dancing, excessive drinking and all that. Now people are sober. So I think that we are going back to our human nature, okay, where we give dignity to the dead and not just to use the dead as opportunities to party around.
Is the hospital still doing most of the things that clinical operations that you usually do? So surgeries, for instance, are you still undertaking surgeries? So because some hospitals elsewhere internationally have halted those practices.
Okay. I think that we changed a lot of things. So in the initial stages, we put a hold on a lot of our services because we needed to re-strategize and see how best we could deliver the service with COVID infections in mind. And so now we are back and we are doing almost everything now. So during those times, we just scaled down to only emergency surgeries.
Okay.
But currently, we have started doing elective surgeries again. But then we have changed the way we do things. So we need to protect the patient and we need to protect ourselves. And so everybody who is coming into theater now comes in a face mask, which we didn't used to do before. And when we have to undertake any procedure that we know that we are at risk, then we do it not only with our scrubs, but you have your face masks on and you wear your gown so that you are protected. So in terms of surgery now, full-scale surgery is on.
Is on.
Is on.
And I see, getting the success stories as you used to have, because I recall some time back you made a very huge impact when you did one surgery. I think, I don't know what, if you can remind me, because there was a major surgery that caught up within the Port community, very successful.
Okay, so IMaH has been operating not for too long, and we staggered our operations. Started with the common specialties, obstetrics and gynecology, general surgery. But as we progressed on, we have started doing neurosurgeries. Yep. And that was one of our main success stories, especially during this COVID era. This client was supposed to go to another facility, and yet he was getting more and more complicated. And they had cancelled elective surgeries, and so he couldn't have his surgery done in that facility. And so eventually he came to IMaH, and we did the surgery for him, and thankfully he's recovered amazingly. And that was our first craniotomy. So in neurosurgery, there are different forms of surgery. But in this one, you would have to open the skull to take out the tumor. And then once you finish, you put the skull back.
Take out the entire...
No, part of the skull where the tumor is. What you call a craniotomy. Okay. And the patient was so grateful because if it had delayed, you know, the implications would have been so bad. Nice. But he was happy that despite all that was going on, we were ready to take the risk and to offer the service. Nice. Apart from that, I think one of the commonest surgery that is done for women in Ghana now is the gynecological surgery for fibroid. And it is so popular, it is everywhere.
Yeah, fibroid.
And what everybody knows, or the common one, is that you have to have an open surgery. You know, you have to be cut open, we open your abdomen, your womb to get the fibroid out. But what we are doing in IMaH, which is new, is that we are doing this surgery, but we are doing it through a keyhole. And so we won't have to cut you open.
I see.
But through a keyhole, we do the surgery for you. So it's keyhole surgery. It's laparoscopic surgery. And the same day or the next day, you're ready to go home.
Wow. So you don't cut?
We don't cut. We don't cut. And the success story, so far as this is concerned, is there are lots of them. A few weeks ago, we had to do one for a client who has a lot of complications already. And so, and the fibroid was also making her situation even more complex. And we offered to do this. She herself was a bit skeptical because even though she wanted to do the surgery, she knew that if she does it, she was worried about the implications on her other conditions. But we managed to explain to her and she understood. And we finished, and the next day she was home. And she called and said, inti surgery, she said it in Tree. Inti surgery, no, and no, surgery, no.
I see.
And I'm like, yeah, it's done.
I see.
And she's like,
That's impressive.
If you're able to do this in Ghana, why are you not telling everybody about it? So this is our opportunity. That in IMA, we do a procedure we call TCRF, trans-cervical resection of fibroid. Usually when you have fibroids, depending on the size of the fibroid, you don't always have to have an open surgery to take that fibroid out. If it is small and there's a certain category of fibroids, we can take out that fibroid through a keyhole surgery, which we call TCRF. And it can be done the same day, and you are out of hospital by evening of the same day. We would have to screen you first to know whether you fit into that criteria. And so we advise every woman, it's one of the things that we don't usually do, to have annual health checks. But if you do an annual health check, one of the things that you would do is to have an abdominal scan. Or a pelvic scan. And if we do the scan early and we pick up some of these things, then we can offer you that service. And so if you want to have an annual health check, IMA is ready for you. You can come in. If you want to have an ultrasound, a pelvic ultrasound to check whether there's something like that, or you've even been told that you have fibroids, walk into IMA and we'll be able to help you.
I see. And you usually have this heart day or heart month where you check the hearts of people and all of that.
So what we do in IMA is that we want to offer service to our clients in any way, in any form. Whichever way that we can get you to come, because your health is important. So we have different packages, different ways in presenting it. And so one of the things that we did from March through April, which we had to pause because of COVID, is what we call the Hearty IMA package, where people walked in, and for a very subsidized fee, we do what we call a heart screening. So we do the basic test that you have to do so far as your heart is concerned, and it's a total package. Now, after you do those tests, a physician specialist would examine you and then look at the results and then discuss what we find with you. And where you need interventions, we offer them. And where you need dietary modification, our dietitian also comes in to offer help. And so we were doing that. The other thing that we are going to roll out soon, once these things start settle, is to have a wellness package. So you don't only have to be sick to come into hospital. So with our wellness packages, we have a schedule, you book an appointment, you come. And then we will just take you through a total health check, depending on your age, depending on what other comorbidities you have. And then based on what we find, we'll be able to advise you appropriately. And we advise that at least you do that once a year. So if you haven't started, or you're even doing it anywhere else, you can come to IMA.
Good. So I see some of you calling the WhatsApp number. You can call the main line now. So the producers have made the lines available now, 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. The WhatsApp number is 055-901-9177. Dr. Yecham, the name International Maritime Hospital, a lot of people hear and they feel that Everything there is Ubroni. Everything there is Ubroni. But indeed, I see a lot of Ubroni there too. But who can assess International Maritime Hospital?
All right. So the name International Maritime Hospital, I think the international scares some people.
Yeah.
But we do offer international standard of care at, if I can say, at Etufobo. It's not. Our services are not overly expensive compared to other places, but we offer great services. As the name implies, international, we cater to all people.
Yeah.
Just walk in. The hospital is not meant for, let's say, just the port community.
Yeah.
We are open
to
to
that
every single person. Just walk in and tell us what you need concerning your health, and we would help you. It's just amazing. I don't know, somehow during this COVID era, our international clients have rather
shut up. So there are a lot of foreigners coming to the place there. What's your secret? Is it not because probably you have a very sanitized environment, very clean place, and you also segregate, you know?
Yes.
So
I mean, we have a lot of things in place. As Dr. Tete mentioned, some, if you don't wear a mask, you can't enter, or we'll have to give you a mask before you enter. At the port of entry, we have hand washing stations. We have sanitizer dispensers scattered all over the hospital. We're wiping down door handles hourly. We have educational material streaming, banners up all over the place. We're enforcing our appointment system currently. So we're trying to limit the number of people that come in at a particular time. So for our clinics, we don't want everybody just coming in. We schedule you, give you a particular time, you come in, you are seen, you go. Then the next batch comes in. So that's what we're doing. Every waiting area now is observing physical distance. All the seats have been spaced out. You don't get too close to the next person. We have so much in place. So I think maybe when they see that, they are happy. And then also we have people speaking, we have doctors that speak Russian, we have doctors that speak Chinese, we have people that speak French. So I think when they come in, and there are some, you know, they speak these foreign languages, they are happy when all of a sudden, even though they do come with translators sometimes, or Ghanaian counterparts, who sometimes don't even understand their language much. As soon as the doctor starts speaking Russian, you can tell the happiness, and they will say their symptoms like, you know. So I think these are some of the few things that are pulling them in. And then when COVID broke out, if you were Chinese or Asian, all of a sudden, any hospital you enter, you are in trouble. Yes, some stigma. We don't stigmatize. In fact, we want you to know that if you think you have COVID, we won't send you away. We have an isolation bay. We've had to even makeshift some rooms to turn them into isolation places for people because we just couldn't turn them away. So these are some of the things we have in place, and I think the international community has heard about this and maybe has seen it, and they're just popping in. So
there's a lot of patronage from the international community.
But just to add to it, I think that there are two other things I want to add is that the staff at IMA, they act professionally. You know, so we have the right caliber of staff there, and so that adds to it. And then we have the full complement of service. So from the lab to radiology, you can do almost all your radiological investigations at IMA. CT scan, MRI, fluoroscopy, mammograph, ultrasound, so chest X-ray, it's a standard.
Dental, yes.
And then we have dental services, full running. We have eye services, also fully running.
I see.
We have a dialysis, and okay, so for the specialties, ENT is going, you see they're all helping. Urology is going, orthopedics is going, general surgery, pediatrics, neurology. So it's a full complement of specialty. Okay. And then if you need dialysis, we have a dialysis center that is going. And if after all this, we've mentioned that you come to the end, we still have a place. So if you come to IMA, you don't have to step out for it. It's a whole package.
The Ebenezer from Tema is asking, good evening, please. I want to know if you offer mental health services. Do you offer that?
Yeah, currently no, but we're going to start with the service. We're about to start before the COVID started, so we'll be starting shortly. But for those people who need mental counseling, etc., we are able to arrange that.
Okay. And somebody is asking where is IMA? Where is the International Maritime Hospital located?
IMA is at Community 3,
okay.
Site A, behind the GNPC flats. Some of the landmarks close there. There's PV Obin Avenue, and then PV Obin Roundabout. And I suppose a lot of people know Agbamame, where they serve some sumptuous local dishes. So it's quite close to Agbamame. I'm sure that if you are on your way to Agbamame, you can see our signages directly.
But of course, there are signs around
exactly,
too. Okay.
Yes. But if you're driving and you just go into Google Map and put International Maritime Hospital, it will just give you, it will just bring you straight to IMA.
Okay. And Dr. Pong, do you know, what I want to find out, do you know any country that has a maritime hospital? Or would you say this country is probably the first within the region, or is there any country, one within West Africa or maybe Africa, that has a maritime hospital?
Definitely not in Africa,
okay.
Or West Africa. There are some maritime health facilities, Sweden and other places, but
okay.
Probably not a full-scale hospital like ours. That is also open. I mean, the unique thing about ours is that it is a fully fledged, self-standing hospital that looks after everybody, not just the maritime,
those within the maritime space. Okay.
Exactly.
So I was going to ask, how does that also, well, even though you take care of everything else, you bear the name, and also you are around the maritime industry. To what extent does that position the country? How significant is such a maritime facility, a hospital or health facility that represent the maritime industry, taking into consideration the port services and all of that?
I think Ghana strategically is trying to be the gateway to West Africa by land, sea, etc. Okay, and the Tema port is one of the best in Africa, and then obviously one of the busiest. And we get people coming in, the crew, we get some, occasionally there are also tour vessels even calling at the Tema port. We've had some engagements with some of these authorities, and there are some shipping agencies that are linking up with us, so that when crew come on port or when they have passengers on board, we can go in. If they need our services, they need health care. So I think that, you see, when people are entering the country, foreigners, one of the things that make them very uncomfortable is the health services in that country.
Yeah.
Foreigners here, some of them, when they are coming, they are very apprehensive that if I get a heart attack, where do I go? Do you have facilities that can take care of me? As Dr. Yechan was saying, she made mention of the fact that now the COVID area times, we are getting a lot more foreigners, a lot more expatriates. It's just that they are getting to know the hospital. So when they come there, they are happy. They think that the standards are what they are used to from wherever they are coming from. So when people are doing business in Ghana in the port space, they will also be comfortable if there is a facility that will see to their healthcare needs, especially in times of emergency. And in that respect, IMA is particularly well placed for this sort of thing, so that whoever is coming, foreign cargo, foreign crew, whatever, they will be able to know that if they need healthcare services, and then also some of the port areas, agencies and all that, some of them have foreigners working in there. And IMA currently has quite a number of these foreign expatriates who seek care from the facility. So if an agency, even if they don't want to enroll all of their staff, they make sure that the expatriate staff have access to IMA because of the level of healthcare and then the standard they are happy with. So I think that going forward, the development of the port, Tama Port and all that, the presence of the International Maritime Hospital will make foreigners coming in feel more comfortable, more secure, and then the level of healthcare that they are used to, wherever they are coming from, they are likely to get that.
How does it also position us in fighting pandemics, global pandemics of this nature? Now, when we had a lockdown and cargoes were allowed to move in and out, people were worried that, hey, there's a cargo coming from, let's say, Spain, and Spain has recorded 50,000 cases. How do I touch a container and all of that? How does that make us secure if you have facilities of this nature?
Well, there are arrangements on the ground, where there's a port health which is responsible for this. But the port health, they're not working in isolation. Yeah. We've had several interactions with them. Apart from that, we have the GPHA clinic, which is also on board. And all these are linked. And so if there is anything like that, the first point of call is the port health. But then they know that if there is any client they need to move for treatment because of the connection with us, we are available to take care of the patient. So even though we would not be the front line when it comes to a vessel that has come, we are available as a backup. However, if we have to be those who are contacted, we are also ready to be able to handle such clients.
Okay, so I'm going to just take a short breather and let you hear something from the IMA team in Ewe as far as coronavirus is concerned, as well as Chi, the other languages that you don't often hear.
Caleb Felice, International Maritime Hospital, Tema. We come to Punto at the have a human fulfill a doya coronavirus, allo COVID-19. A doya, and yet a doki here at a hole and a bo. A mafia here a war, and Matin Hodoyao. The Kawin a color asi, but Jane, let you hear do not do me. Get doya, Matin at over a called the Untume. Allo etume ahodo yao. Allo zubele te feki he mataklo asiola azan kube hand sanitizer. Ako tutu asin because eto yala elele ame pratin allo ame keno zube ka ku allo etola ahodo ya. No zube ebe akpepela akpe ekpeko de abome ke ame ki hole opa hajira o ma hodo yao. Allo azan chisu akpe ekpeko de me ke ako de bola lugume ke ha ma ame wa hodo yao. Le gapoya mala me heme no zube me jin ki he adu alo amati ki ha zala me ka do la pe me o no ape me because no so be do la e do ya ele kike le jowe ta me he bajita na do na wo ne kele botu me bajita ne po e do ya me ka do alo no so be be ado la azan face mask akoka ba pe me ape adu no so be e do ha chela me ka te no fi too much o na at least abodume eve ino mi pe no fi odume afi inadu no zube ele afme ha chela inadu nuede na no chi nuede na dono na dideme because no zo me dono la he didemo la edo atan du fo fukaji wade funa we ta ana afme adu nuede azo lo fa afme ha che atan fuju lo fa afme ha che because jela me here na do too much because mata e pack ji ala fuju mata afuju lo fa afme azo lo fa afme ha no zube la afme la asi o fe akroji o fe ntoji nkopide hesa afmela asitoji every day o fe phone ki hesa afmela asin o fe zipiji hesa ekeji no ha mo fa gbo pede asin o kata Ghana jiko kata ehia o atame po do ko ji ni le.
Midinde Dr. Charles Ansalabi, Yejmo International Maritime Hospital, Ewo Tema, Community 3. mekasa kakra afa coronavirus disease anaasɛ COVID-19 aba wiase afa na nyinaa ebi edru Ghana. Na obebisa ho sɛ ɛdeɛ na ɔbɛyɛ wambra ususu sɛ oni obi a wanya saa yare ni bi enye nhyiamu anaasɛ wabɛn obi a ɔwɔ saa yare ni bi. Deɛ sɛ woyɛ ne sɛ wobɛto wo ho pono mu na wafrɛ number ɛda screen no so. Mmerɛ a wohyɛ ɛda mu ndadu nan sɛ wonya atenka sɛ owidie mu asesa anaasɛ wapɔmuden asesa ebi ne sɛ wobɔwa ohumi a ensi so ohu yɛ hye anaasɛ omini mu yɛ ɔya wobɛfrɛ wayaresabea anaasɛ hospital na ɔmakyerɛw dia ɛsɛ sɛ woyɛ. Sɛ wofrɛ ayaresabea na hospital anaasɛ yɛkase bra hospital a ntwantro ɛwɔ deɛ ɛyɛ wo no ho ɛsɛ sɛ woka nokora biara ɛwɔ mu. Ebi ne sɛ onye obi ɛdi nhyiamu a ɔwɔ yare no bi anaasɛ wahyɛ dan mu ndadu nan.
Okay, beautiful. So I want the number again because we have lots of messages asking for your numbers. If we can repeat that and then your other addresses, especially the social media.
Cool. All right, so our phone number and WhatsApp number is 055 2222 290. That's okay. 5 2s. I'll take that again. 055 2222 290. So okay. That number is on WhatsApp. You can call, you can save the number, and you receive our packages. We send messages out to our clients. If you save it, you will see our status. So we post a lot of things on our status concerning our packages and general tidbits on health. You will get that. Good. We also have a Facebook page, International Maritime Hospital, GPHA. Find us on Facebook. We have a lot of information there too. And then call us also on 0303 220030 for general inquiries.
Okay. Yes. And this one says, good evening. Please, I want to know if they have incubators for premature babies. I would like to say a big thank you to the recovery staff at the theater, especially one Sister Mimi and Auntie Hannah and Sister Winifred for their tremendous services they provided for my mother during her stay there. This is from Emmanuel in Kaswa. So his bit about the incubators.
Yes, so we have incubators. So if you have a premature baby, we can take care of the baby there as well. It's a total package.
We have a neonatal ICU.
Yeah, nice. And Emmanuel is commending some of your staff, Sister Mimi and Co, Auntie Hannah.
I'm sure they're watching.
Yes. They should be excited. Look, yes. So when you go, you have to make them fine.
Yes, you make them fine.
Okay. So somebody is asking, can you give me an example of their prices for services like ordinary operation of hernia or fibroid?
It depends. Yeah. So the system we operate is that when you come and we examine you, depending on what kind of surgery it is, we would give you an invoice. So you have an idea what it's going to cost before we actually go ahead to do the surgery for you.
Okay.
So
and that is coming from Francis.
Our numbers and the person can contact us on our numbers.
Okay. So Francis, the number, the IMAN numbers are on the screen, so they do all that kind operations if you get in touch with them. So we're going to pick some few international news and we should be wrapping up.
The Port of Helsinki will temporarily dismiss its entire personnel due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic and related travel restrictions on the port's business. The port said in an announcement that, quote, because of this, we have been forced to start extensive cost reductions. As a part of the reduction plan, the Port of Helsinki Limited and its employees have agreed that the port's personnel will be temporarily dismissed, unquote. The decision was made in the cooperation procedures that ended on 19th May 2020. As informed, the personnel of the Port of Helsinki will be dismissed for 30 days between the start of August and the end of the year, and for a maximum of 30 days in early 2020. Inter manager The International Trade Association for the Ship and Crew Management sector has launched a Maritime Champions League to recognize the crew repatriation efforts of the maritime industry during the COVID-19. The Maritime Champions League is a website where ship managers can share their successful crew repatriation achievements and figures, irrespective of whether they are in-house or third party. As widely reported, seafarers are facing an unprecedented crisis as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, as they have been unable to conduct crew changes, and some of them are stuck on board ships for much longer than originally planned. The association said that the main driver behind the move was to provide the public with the information from ship owners and crew managers who have been working on facilitating crew changes during the pandemic. 3 crew members were kidnapped from a tanker at Opobo River mouth, some 27 nautical miles off east of Bonny, Nigeria, on 20th May 2020. At the time of the attack, the Nigerian flagged Prayer 1 was carrying automotive gas oil from Lagos State to Calabar, sailing very close to shore, Presidium International said. Perpetrators managed to board the ship and kidnap 3 men, the captain, the chief engineer, and the cook, likely all being Nigerian nationals. The crew notified local authorities that deployed NNS Jubilee, a Nigerian Navy ship, to provide support. Following the incident, the tanker sailed to Uta Ewa in Ekot Abasi with the assistance of a local pilot to avoid grounding in the shallow waters of the area.
So Dr. Helen Tete is the head of Clinical Services International Maritime Hospital. Dr. Yecha Boateng is a family physician specialist International Maritime Hospital, and the chief executive himself, International Maritime Hospital, is Dr. Sylvester Yao Opon. Doctor, take-home message would be what?
Our take-home message with regard to COVID-19 is that COVID here, for some, whether we like it or not, for some foreseeable future, is here to stay with us. It's up to us to modify our lifestyle to live with it for some time until a vaccine or a cure is found. But we should not also be too hopeful that a vaccine may be next year. We know about, at least now, there are about 13 vaccines undergoing clinical trials, but there's no guarantee that we'll get in the... I mean, look at HIV. It's been with us for some time now. Ebola has been there. It goes, it comes back. Okay, so if we get a vaccine, that's a windfall, but we may not get one. And we can also not get locked down. The whole world, we cannot lock ourselves down forever. So we will have to lead our life, but redefine the level of life that we lead. And that level will have to be integrated with the precautions that are have been advised. Wearing of face mask, washing of hands regularly, using hand sanitizers, and then keeping our social distancing. One thing about face mask is that we should always think that, look at it as complementary to the other precautionary measures. Some people think that once you're in a face mask, then you can do whatever, you can go into any crowd at all because you have a face mask. It is only adding up. It is not replacing anything. So we have to do everything, all of these things in totality, and then keep our distance, and I'm sure that God be on our side. We will succeed, and then we live with the virus until it may get to a point when the virulence of the virus itself may probably decline. We may get a vaccine. A lot of people will build antibodies, etc. And then we should also take care of ourselves, eat well, exercise, drink a lot of water. The good health that we do, avoid stress and all that, so that we will build our immunity. Finally, before we go, let me say thank you to one catering agency called Benign Catering Agency in Community 5 in Tema, who brought packages of food, very sumptuous, nutritious food to our frontline staff as part of the anti-COVID campaign. So Benign Catering, we are very grateful.
And if people need any healthcare services, they can turn to IMaH'S.
Yes, IMaH'S.
So thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for coming into the studio. And we have tried as much as possible in this month for workers, celebrated these men and women who are on the front line helping to prevent the importation of COVID-19 into this country, as well as its spread as well. We brought the port, the GPHA clinic, and now the International Maritime Hospital. So now you can see the faces and people who are behind helping to prevent the importation as well as the spread of COVID-19. See you same time next week. If you have any queries, and I see some of them coming, you can send them. I will definitely respond to them through the WhatsApp medium that you have sent them as well. I would also have to say a big thank you to our executive producers for this program, Abna Sewa Opoku-Fosu, Nana Esi Suduberg, Lydia Tham, and the main one, the big mama herself, Mrs. Esther Jebi Donko. We celebrated women in this month, so we are celebrating our executive producers as well, and all other women, women everywhere. Thank you for being there behind us. Thank you. See you next week.